Colby Covington believes Alex Pereira can knock out Jon Jones. How does that strike you? Because it strikes me, duh. I mean, that's how I feel about it. People are arguing with Colby that Colby believes Pereira can knock out Jon Jones. How could you argue that? Not to mention, okay, let me be a little critical here, but did you hear Colby's words? He used the word can. He didn't say he thinks it's going to happen. He didn't say he hopes it's going to happen. It didn't feel personal at all. It was an observation, and it was a compliment to Pereira, and it's true. Do you believe there's a guy Pereira couldn't knock out? Oh, God, Pereira. Oh, God, he annoys me so much. I don't understand. I was with him just recently. It's my first time ever meeting him, and I wanted to meet him. It was my first time. I could feel something in the room when he was in it. And I'm not joking. And I don't ever say that for guys that are younger than me. Ever. But I could feel something in the room when he came in. And there was a tension throughout the whole room. Not bad, not good, but it existed. I've had that feeling 2 times in my life. The first is the first time I saw Royce Gracie in person. And the second is I was at Randy Couture's gym to spar. We're on the mats doing a warm-up, and in walks Wanderlei Silva with his bag, his shoulders on his bag, and Matt Lindland sees him and turns to me and says, "Oh, good, you're going to spar Wanderlei today." And I just remember like this, he had like this aura. And when I tell you that Pereira pisses me off, he pisses me off in that I can't explain him. If I was not living through this era, okay, if somebody came to me, and you get guys that do this all the time, it's called folklore. It's not true. It's never true. They got no videos. They got no living witnesses. I mean, you get jerks that'll come out and tell you that Billy the Kid went and lived a life after we all believe that he was killed by Pat Garrett, right? But now you can't actually talk to them. They'll tell you it's true. They'll swear up and down, but they have no proof, and they don't even have Billy the Kid. They just knew a guy who was Billy the Kid, and now it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but I just share this with you that the only stories I've ever heard in my life about somebody that had the kind of athletic success of Alex Pereira are folklore. And the only thing that they have in common is there's no videos, there's no pictures, and there was no witnesses. You are the only one that knows it. You only know it because your grandfather told you a month before he died in 1994. So, right, and it's a myth. It's just a myth, but it's fun. And the only time I even know of stories told to this degree are myths. I've lived through 2. I've lived through 2 scenarios that are so truly unbelievable to believe that had I not lived through them. One is an amateur wrestler named Kyle Schneider. World and Olympic champion and still in college. You would not believe how good he is. You would think it was a lie. And the second is Alex Pereira. If I didn't have video proof, I wouldn't even tell you anything about him. If I didn't have witnesses that have seen him fight, I would not tell you about him. Because I would not expect for you to understand that a tribalman from the jungle in Brazil who can go out on the lam on his own, by the way, he doesn't need underwear, he doesn't need shoes, he will survive. He will turn a stick into an arrow, he will find something else to create a bow, and he will be having dinner on time that night. I know special forces guys that couldn't guarantee that. You drop them somewhere naked. I'm telling you, you don't have shoes. You're naked. That could build weapons and survive, build shelter for themselves, have somewhere to stay. I mean, I couldn't get you to believe that. I damn sure I'm not going to get you to believe that a kickboxer I'm not trying to be a smart aleck, guys. I don't even know what that means. And neither do you. Not one of you had that in your junior high or your PE practice. Not one of you had that at your high school. Not one of you's ever done it. Not one of you has someone in your family that's ever done it. You don't know a kickboxer. Are you ready for that? You don't even know one. You have not met somebody in real life that on a Saturday night put on gloves and went in there and punched and kicked against somebody else. You know somebody that tells you they go to a kickboxing gym. You know somebody that does a kickboxing workout. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just sharing this with you that if I'm going to suggest that there's a guy who's almost 30 and his only background is in kickboxing, he's going to come into the UFC and he's going to be a top guy, you're not going to believe that. If I tell you he's going to be a champion and he's going to headline Madison Square Garden, you're not going to believe that. If I tell you he's going to be a multi-divisional champion with multiple world title fights at Madison Square Garden, you're just not going to believe that, and I wouldn't expect you to. It's not believable. So, attempting to explain Alex Pereira truly is very impossible to do. And Colby's career is a riddle. That if you weren't there to understand, you're going to sit back and you're going to try to deduce and break down what I mean. I don't mean anything. This is as plainly as I know how to talk. Colby was the clearest number one contender, but he could not get a world title fight. Colby was the interim champion of the world that never lost and woke up one day and didn't have the belt. Colby defeated 50-45 by 3 the reigning sitting BMF champion, but was never declared champion himself. So for Colby to be able to see for Colby, whose career is a riddle, to give you a Riddler over here on Pereira, there's very fair comparisons. And to act as though Colby's out to lunch by saying that Pereira could knock out Jon Jones? Yeah, Pereira could knock out Jon Jones.